Okay, we're rolling. Let's see.
Her body like the wild, wild west. What if you done found out, yeah? Riding in the big God bless. She's all inferno. It's a hell of a time.
Hello and welcome to the Sunday Funday Podcast, the official podcast for Wild West Fantasy Baseball. I'll be your host today, Alan Arms, Trillo Pet, Canadian Performance Milkman, creator of the Gallon Challenge, joined alongside my co-host, co-lead singer of the band, Mr. Henry P. Bottle. Henry, how are we doing today?
Doing great. What's up, Trillo?
That's right, baby. And without further ado, we'd like to introduce our Commissioner Coates. I'm going to beat that to the ground. My new rival. Coates, how are we doing?
What's up, guys? Glad I could be on with you. Hate that it's this early in the standing series, but it's good to be talking with you guys.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's unlikely for you to be joining us very, very early, but we're glad to have you on.
Uncharacteristic, some might say.
Yeah, don't get used to it. That's all I have to say about that for now. I'm sure we'll get more into that as the interview goes on.
Can we address the elephant in the room?
So,
He wore a suit to his interview. I was not expecting
Stand
that.
Stand up right now.
well, guys, I'm wearing a suit because I'm all business this year. Like, we're not playing games anymore. I mean, what do you mean stand up?
You have the full
Business
pants
on the bottom.
Oh my
Oh,
god!
shit!
What kind of shoes do you have on?
All right, business head to toe.
Oh no,
Okay, not head to toe. Not quite head to toe. He's business like 80% at least.
Well, Coach, you're looking great.
you too.
The question is, are you feeling great? How's life outside of ball?
Yeah, man, life has never been better. It's been a big a year since our last podcast. You know, obviously got married, got a new house in the last couple months. So yeah, man, no complaints outside of fantasy baseball. That's the only the only downside of the last year plus.
I hear you. Yeah, we're all itching. Everybody wants to draft right now.
Yeah, I'm ready. Draft tomorrow.
I mean, State of the Union or State of the League first? I mean, you're all dressed up, ready to go. It seems like we're about to go right now, right? Where's that? When's that going to be? That's the first question.
That typically comes out draft night eve, Christmas Eve. I think that's what I've done the last few years, so I'll probably just stick with that.
Cool. Sounds good. Glad we can knock that off.
Thought that was a draft week thing, but we wanted to go ahead and hold you accountable while we weren't sure.
I'm glad you guys enjoy them. Always good to get that feedback.
Absolutely. Henry, you got a question for Mr. Coates?
Yeah, I did have a couple, but one top of mind right before we jump in really to the meat and bones here. But first off, how dare you? Also, what gives you the right?
And maybe if I could have some more context, I might be able to answer that one a little bit better. I don't know. Just in general.
I mean, maybe in the context of how dare you delete the league and cover up your awful season.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, actually. I felt some pressure to get things activated, and I did not fully think through that decision. I couldn't remember how we reactivated it in the past, and I thought that I just had to reset the league, not realizing it was still in 2024 mode. So hand up on that one, accountability check. I messed that up, but luckily we do still have the history sheet, and that's what really matters. I think we got people's records accurate, so it's a learning moment. Next year we won't make that same mistake. I'll push back when y'all start bitching to restart the league.
It's okay. We just don't want to hear Carlin taking screenshots and sending it and be like, "Oh, I'm number 5 in the league." It's not real. It's not real. The league history is
Yeah.
done for. It's cooked.
It's not a real metric. Henry, I feel bad for you, especially not having that accolade in the league anymore. But like I said, it's in the more important doc. It's just not in the ESPN app anymore.
Yeah, it's okay that it doesn't live on in the ESPN app. That's not something I've really lost any sleep over. But did want to add too, in terms of like the preseason shuffle, the Fantrax era wasn't all bad. So there were some highlights.
I mean, it made sense why you were pushing so hard for it. Like within 30 minutes of getting everything set in Fantrax, you absolutely ripped Carlin in a trade. So kudos to you. That was some good management with a weak target. I'm glad it was Carlin and not Jason. That would have like probably rubbed the league the wrong way, like pretty bad. But yeah, man, what a shit show Fantrax was. I was excited to try it, and it just turned out to be absolutely terrible.
Yeah, I should have continued my holdout, being the last person to agree. I knew when Henry was blasting my phone that something was happening, like blowing me up.
Yeah, I feel like Henry might owe you one after that, give you like at least one favorable trade or something.
No, he wouldn't. I tried.
Not my
I
style.
tried to get myself some favorable trades, but no, he wouldn't budge.
Orms is a tougher trade partner these days, I feel like. The word on the street.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Connor said.
Yeah,
Connor
it's
had a
been a
lot to
minute.
say.
I haven't gotten a reasonable offer from Orms in a minute.
That's fine with me. I'm not losing trades.
That's fun.
I mean, I'm still willing to like work, but like, it's. I don't even have to get into it. I'm gonna shoot up here. You're gonna shoot down here. We're gonna land in the middle. I mean, that's just how it goes. But
Yeah, a lot of times your first one is like so high, it's like I'm not even gonna bother trying to send one down here. It's just we're so far apart.
Well, I mean, I guess it's a good segue. New rivals this year. That's something we've never done before, which is kind of crazy. Coates, how are you feeling about your new rival?
I wish, to be honest with you, I wish I still had Nikki. That was just easy pickings. There was a lot of shit talk that went on in the group, and it was a fun rivalry for me, especially. Nikki probably enjoyed off the field, but once we got between the diamond or between the chalk, he probably didn't like it then. But yeah, I'm happy to have Orms as my rival now. I think we can continue. I think we have continued, giving each other some shit in the group, and I tend to do pretty well against you in the regular season. So it's on you to kind of flip the script, and yeah, it should be fun.
Cool.
Ding ding.
Yeah, I'll comment more when it comes to my turn, but I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Henry, the floor is yours.
I did have one, switching gears a little bit. So you've probably been the most consistent manager in the Wild West era, only having missed the playoffs last season, I believe, is what I gathered from the league history page. So what was different about last year to where the results weren't quite the same?
Yeah, what you gathered is correct. That was my first missed playoff. Going back 2 years, I won the championship, and the year after that, last year, 2 years ago, I came runner-up. So it was a pretty big drop from where I had been. So I think just going back to what my old strategy was, it's been the same pretty much since we started the Wild West era. And since we've been doing draft pick trading, I've kind of consolidated my picks in like that 30 to 100 range, really trying to get good hitting depth and trying to like kind of stack starting pitching, and then kind of hit on some sleepers later in the draft. And then kind of like throughout the regular season, I try to kind of flip pitching for hitting and kind of, balance my team out throughout the year. But last year that just didn't happen. I missed on a lot of draft picks, pitching especially, like all the guys that I really was depending on to, help me lock up 4 to 5 pitching categories a week just flopped. So I think that was the big thing. And also injuries. I lost Casas for basically the whole year as my keeper. So that, I was depending on him a lot for some hitting cats. So, between missing on all those picks and all my injuries, I kind of was in between a rock and a hard place. Like, do I, take some less than favorable trades, or do I kind of like diamond hands and try and like hope that my guys figure it out? And I tried to hold on, and I just waited too long to adjust and try to make the moves that I needed to crawl back into playoff contention. So yeah, I think it was a combination of multiple things. Also, I should shout out the bottom of the league. I wasn't able to rip guys on trades like Austin, Chris, Brock. Like they didn't. Not everybody had great seasons like Brock, especially, but they held strong, and I wasn't able to rip them the way that I had in the past. That the bottom has definitely risen from where they were just a few years ago. So kudos to them.
Yeah, you definitely did not get any great trades with Brock last year, did you?
No. Are you suggesting something? Did I?
Brock wasn't in the league last year.
Yeah, he was.
He was.
Yes,
He was without you. But Brock
came 11th, right?
This past season?
Or no, he came in 8th. He came in 8th.
I thought Colton replaced. No, yeah, shit. Jason replaced Brock.
Yeah, Jason's replacing Brock.
Brock was in the league.
Yes, he missed the playoffs by half a game.
He didn't make any moves. He didn't make any trades or anything. He didn't.
I guess that was the whole thing. Like because we like draft day decided. Brock was staying in the league. Okay, shit, my bad. Damn.
Hypotheticals are flying right now. Okay, if Brock makes the playoffs,
I was like, what are you implying, Henry? Yeah, I didn't make a trade with
Brock.
Did anybody?
Brock was like on the cusp of a playoff berth. Like he was within a half a game, and he fucked that up so bad it ruined my championship. Hypothetically, we won't get into it, but fuck Brock. Moving forward. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, hypothetical segue. If you had to attend a Renaissance fair with 4 members of the league, who would you take and why?
It's a good question. I've never been to a Renaissance fair. From what I've heard, they look like fun. We get all dressed up together. Let's see. I think number one, I got to go Alan Orms. Like that guy is able to commit to a costume no matter how embarrassing it is. I think the long hair, I think the beard would be strong players. That would give you a lot of options for costumes. Henry would be fun too, but I don't want to just like cop out and go with both of our hosts here. Trying to think who else is in the group.
I'll stay home. No worries.
Mickey could be some kind of like little troll or something. There's some costumes we could get with him with
could see that for sure.
Yeah. Mickey make a good troll. Who else? I'll try and give you 2 more.
Anybody sticking out is like absolutely not Renaissance vibes.
I don't think Chuck would have any fun. I don't think he'd play along. I think he would. He'd think he's like way too cool to be there. So definitely Chuck not getting an invite.
I'll take, but I think maybe Carlin. I mean, he's that's Renaissance ugly. Like he would fit right in.
He would fit in, but I wouldn't want him in my squad.
He
would,
I'll take.
That was a hot take to try and mix Carlin in. Like he never gets like a positive inclusion in these. That was nice.
I'm like blanking on who's in the league right now. I can't even.
Not Brock anymore.
Not Brock anymore, right? He hasn't been in the league for at least 3 years now.
Q in the league.
I'll say Dawson. I think Dawson would be a good time out there. He would smoke a little weed before and just be laughing and having a good old time while we're there. Give me one more. Who else is in our league?
Come on. Kamish. Kenny.
Yeah, good old Lenny. That'd be fun.
Colton. Hardly.
I'll say Henry. I think Henry would have a blast out there too. He would.
I would
he would
really enjoy that.
I could see Henry just harming a turkey leg. Like he would have a grand old time.
Talking in accents, like play whatever role they want.
Yeah. I mean, you were in the elementary school play. Like you know how to dress up and you know how to act. You know how to change the voice. Like you'd kill it out there.
I appreciate that, man.
Henry, do you have any more questions besides the Sneech question?
We can go ahead and do the Sneech question. I do have one that I want to do maybe a little closer to the end. But Sneech question for you. Did last year's results scare you into drafting in the first round? Not once, but apparently twice.
Yes. Yeah, it did. Going back and reviewing not just last year's draft, but previous drafts, I think my strategy of like clumping between 30 and 100, like I talked about earlier, I think that put a lot of strain on like my regular season. Like I really had to be active in the trade market and find some good free agents and stuff. And good hitting is hard to come by, especially right now. You know, pitchers are pretty dominant. So I think for my strategy this year, it's important to find some good hitters early and not rely on trying to, win some big trades in the middle of the season. So, yes, Nikki, I did learn from my mistakes. I did scare myself, and I'm going to make sure that I don't finish outside the top 7 again this year.
Did kind of sniff that one out. Nikki influenced the Sneech question. I will grant you that. I will. I know we only have so much time this evening, but I do want to ask one more real quick, and then I'll shut up. What is like a rule change or two that like you would love to see the league just experiment with? Something that's maybe kicked around your brain a little bit.
That's a good question. If we could maybe add like a tiebreaker, like on week-to-week basis, so there's not 5-5 is a tie. Maybe we add like an 11th category that somehow works for both hitters and pitchers. Like maybe your total WAR for a week. Maybe that's how you decide, so there's not so many ties in the year, because we do have a lot of ties. I mean, I feel like people sometimes tie 5 or more times a year. So just in the spirit of having a winner and a loser every week, maybe something like that to, eliminate ties. Other than that, maybe in playing around with different keeper ideas, maybe adding like one hitter keeper, one pitcher keeper per team. I think that could be fun.
Now we're talking.
That would really spice up the draft too, because we already wait so long to draft pitchers that like, imagine, some of the top ones are being kept. Like, I feel like that could really throw a wrinkle.
If they were all like pocketed already, there'd be no taken like top 150.
Yeah, like imagine like Scooble, Skeens are already kept. Like those are the only ones that would probably go in the top 30 in this year's draft. And, imagine they're gone. And then, the second tier guys like the Wheelers and whoever else, like I feel like that could be kind of fun to play around with. But I feel like a lot of people, or at least some people, are not in favor of having any keepers. So that might be a hard sell for them. But yeah,
weirdos.
Yeah,
the sickos and perverts.
I think the keeper adds a nice little wrinkle to the strategy for us all. I think it's fun.
It absolutely does.
Well, I feel like we've asked quite a lot of really good questions. If Henry, you don't have anything else,
That's all I got.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and jump into the bold predictions.
Yeah, I had a couple here. Okay, so last year I think every Sneetch's bold prediction was all 6 Sneetches or 5 Sneetches, however many we have right now, make the playoffs. And I think we've entered into an era where, the margin from the top to the bottom has shrunk. I don't think that's a realistic thing to say anymore. Like the Orms, the Austins, the Grahams, like there's some good managers in the have-nots. So instead of saying that every Sneetch makes the playoffs, I'll just say that there are more Sneetches in the playoffs. So at least 4 of the 7 playoff teams are going to be Sneetches this year. Big course correction from last year with, me, Connor, and Dawson all missing the playoffs. So I think you can go ahead and write us, all 3 of us, in. There's no reason for any foolishness there like we had last year. The last 2 seasons, the regular season winner has gone on to win the championship. And I'm going to say that streak stops. I don't know how bold that is. We had never had that happen, but we're currently on 2 in a row right now. So I'll say regular season champ does not win the championship unless it's me. I'm the only one that can do that. And then going back to the Sneetches, my last bold prediction is that we have some movement. Either somebody drops out of the Sneetches or somebody who's not in the group right now earns their way in.
Follow-up question.
Rising.
Coz, if you could pick one person to join the Sneetches, who would it be?
Probably Graham Barry. He had been in there in the past, and I feel like he's one of the guys that are really knocking on the door right now.
Interesting. I like that.
It's kind of got a Sneetch persona.
Fuck the Sneetches.
We need to see some playoff wins from Graham, though. He's been a regular season dominant player. We need to see him make a run.
Awesome. Well, Coates, this is your stage. Hold yourself accountable right now.
All right, I will hold myself accountable in 2 ways this year. I agree with Connor. I'm not losing as much money as him on his accountability check when I hosted poker and got pizza and shit. But I will not be doing a monetary one like last year. If I miss the playoffs, I will walk 13.1 miles inside Mall St. Matthews without leaving. So a half marathon. And then number 2, I really liked Jason's idea of holding yourself accountable versus your rival. So I will kind of imitate what he did, maybe to a slightly lesser degree, though. If I don't win at least one matchup versus Orms, I will buy him an MLB jersey of his choice. No customization, though. It's got to be a player on the field. So, yeah, got to get at least one versus the Orms this year, or else you're going to be picking a shirt.
Awesome. I like that. Add some skin to the game.
Sir.
I like the jerseys. That's a fun new potential trend.
Yeah, shout out to Jason. I love that idea.
Well, I think
the mall's a good one too. I'm sorry, I didn't react to that, but walking in the mall is awesome also.
Yeah, that one sounds pretty rough. We need a live stream the whole time. Well, that about wraps things up.
Sorry, before you wrap up, I'm not missing the playoffs, so don't get your hopes up about me walking around in the mall. Like it's not going to happen. So.
Whoa!
You don't seem too confident, though.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're
You're so certain.
I said this. I don't know if I said this with Connor, but I was definitely live reacting when I saw Connor do this. I was like, the confidence is shot if you're not willing to hold yourself highly accountable.
The polar plunge is cool.
I mean, I guess the monetary value is what I'm trying to say. Like, if you're that confident to, throw up $500 on the playoff berth, then you're losing your confidence.
I disagree. I think walking around inside for 8 straight hours, I think that's pretty high confidence. That's a complete day waster.
Would you do it in a maid costume?
No.
But there's no chance you miss the playoffs, so it doesn't matter anyway, right?
I'll do it in a Cubs jersey.
Okay.
All right,
A little
cool.
better.
We'll add that. All right, Henry, unless you got anything else, let's go ahead and wrap this up.
Let's call it a night.
Sounds good. Henry, thank you for joining. Coach, thank you for letting us prod you.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I look forward to talking to you all last in the next standing series.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. See you guys. Thanks again.